So, chapter 146 is finally here, and there are quite some twists in this chapter. And the final scene of this chapter might be setting the stage for the next arc now, that film is just about wrapped up. But I'll talk more about that as we get through the chapter. The chapter itself starts with another scene being filmed for the movie. It's Ayuri talking with Hikaru, and she's not happy about the side he seemed to have taken. We definitely skipped through some scenes, but Hikaru's relationship with Ai has probably given Hikaru the courage to break away from Ayuri's manipulation. Knowing Hikaru has seemed to make his choice, Ayuri reminds Hikaru that Taiki is his child, and that he can't run from her for the rest of his life. That in itself confirms how much of a psychopath Ayuri really was. But don't worry, she gets what's coming to her very soon. Ayuri continues by saying someday Hikaru will return to her. No one will ever love someone hopelessly empty like him. Then we cut straight to another scene called Misunderstanding. We see Hikaru rest on Ai, question if she would ever abandon him. And then Hikaru asks if she loves him. However, Ai tells Hikaru that since she knows lies don't work on him, she can honestly say she doesn't know. The reason it's a misunderstanding is because Ai wasn't sure if she could truly say she loves someone until Aqua and Ruby. However, Hikaru probably doesn't know the extra context behind her feelings. And perhaps Ai did truly love him at the time, but just wasn't sure if she could say it. Going off the double black Staringon Hikaru has, along with his reaction though, I don't think he liked the answer I gave him. It probably broke him during this fragile point of his life. We see him walking at home alone in the rain afterwards, looking like his older self, before running into Seijuro. Or perhaps he calls Seijuro there, but what really matters is that Hikaru just seems to tell Seijuro about Ayuri and perhaps the truth about Taiki. Seijuro is not the father, and as we all know, Seijuro loses it from there and goes off on Ayuri, eventually leading to their deaths, all according to Hikaru's plan. Well, maybe not completely, because on the next page, we can see the titles of a few other cuts, along with what looks like Hikaru freaking out. Perhaps he actually didn't expect both of them to die, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about that being Hikaru. But the titles are also pretty interesting. Rejection from Ai probably means Ai did indeed reject Hikaru, which would help fuel the theory of Hikaru killing Ai because he couldn't have her. But then we see Aqua sitting by himself in a room, brewing with his own double black Staringon active before Kana enters. She can quickly see his grim expression and questions if he got swallowed by his role as well. Kana would know a thing or two about that, considering what happened when she was playing Nina recently. Aqua does actually admit she's right. At the moment, the role is making him feel like he can die just like this. I'm surprised he's so honest about that. But of course, Kana's like even if he dies, she wouldn't care. Then she literally grabs and squeezes his chin with her hand, telling Aqua she'd just slap his corpse and go about her usual cussing, before just forgetting all about him. She's sounding pretty crazy right now, but Kana then says if Aqua doesn't like that result, then he should promise her that he'll never say anything like that again. Aqua can't even respond with her still squeezing his chin, and Kana tells Aqua he needs to promise her that. When Kana finally removes her hand, Aqua promises, and she smiles happily and decides to reward him. She will cast a spell that will make him smile. I didn't know Kana was a magician. Even Aqua's a bit confused before Kana reveals some bags of potato chips, and that there is actually a powder that makes you go crazy and die. Kana looks pretty scary here too, and even Aqua's looking concerned now, asking if that's actually alright to eat. Kana says it's a secret and eventually finds the powder and pours it into a bag of chips. Then she shakes it violently before opening it. Aqua's a bit hesitant before he takes a potato chip and eats it, and actually Aqua thinks it's seriously delicious. Kana then begins yapping about the sushi no ko chips as they're called, which actually sounds similar to Oshi no ko, at least until it turns to the pizza no ko. Of course, since Kana revealed the secret to only Aqua, she asks Aqua not to tell Ruby, or else, knowing Ruby, she'd eat all the potato chips herself in the office. But then strangely, Aqua is actually smiling, and tells Kana she's actually troubling him. Of course, Kana's confused, and questions if he has something to complain about. However, Aqua says he's not in a position like that right now, and besides, he has no right to complain. And then finally, Aqua says something Kana fans have been waiting to see for a long time. Aqua actually says that when he's with Kana, he just ends up having fun, and thanks Kana before walking away with the bag of chips. To all the Kana fans out there, stand proud. Even Kana is stunned by his response, and begins deeply thinking about what he said, like if being together is enjoyable. That's also a very important factor in a romantic relationship. Aqua saying he's happy when around her is like basically saying they're very compatible. Kana then begins freaking out, even bringing up Ruby and Aqua's kiss for some reason. But in the end, Kana admits she too ends up having fun when she's with Aqua. Love is a troublesome thing as she puts it, And speaking of love, we find Ruby praying at what I think is Ai's grave. She too has her own black starring gun active before it starts to rain. It's quite ominous, foreboding almost, as we see her waiting under some cover. But almost as if he knew she'd be there, someone approaches Ruby, asking if everything is okay. It's none other than her own father, Hikaru, and the chapter ends with Hikaru telling Ruby he wouldn't mind sharing his umbrella with her. What an absolutely insane cliffhanger. We get a father coming to pick his daughter up in the rain, and it's so hype. And of course, there's a break next week. This chapter though definitely had some good things going for it, especially for Kana fans. They got to eat good with this chapter. After struggling for so long in this era, dominated by Ruby, Aqua's finally given Kana a moment with Aqua. I mean, if anyone noticed, once Kana appeared and made Aqua promise her, we only saw his white starring gun. He was able to be pretty easygoing around Kana too, so perhaps she's the one who can cleanse the darkness inside Aqua. I mean, he does feel happy being around her too. Still though, enjoy this moment while y'all can, because Aqua's always right to hand Kana another L. It's also interesting that Aqua is choosing to skip over most of the filming. I guess he got through most of the important parts he wanted to show, like the relationship between Ai and Hikaru, and then we got enough clues in this chapter to understand how the relationship fell apart. If Ai could never truly love Hikaru, then perhaps that just proves I was right, at least to Hikaru, even with them having Aqua and Ruby as children. Well, maybe he might be able to have some father-daughter bonding with Ruby now, unless he's actually there to start the Ruby kidnapping arc. That actually would be insane, but hopefully they get to talk first. Seeing Aqua and Ruby meet Hikaru was one of the things I was hyped for the most, so I'm so glad to see it finally happen. But yeah, let me know how y'all think Ruby and Hikaru's meeting is gonna go in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. I got some more Oshi content here too if you want to check it out. Peace.